I just know I couldn't even be with her no more. I moved to teasing. I'm teasing catch, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I always thought, like, I don't want no job. A job ain't for me. Like, I don't want to work for nobody else. Like, it's cool having a job, cool, but like the type of jobs I used to go work for, like y'all paying me 9, 11, 12, you know what I'm saying, dollars for all this work I'm doing, like, nah, like I just feel like that wasn't me. You know, everybody got what they gonna do, but I just feel like that wasn't for me. And my folks used to be like, get a job, you know what I'm saying? You ever thought about getting a job? You know, a lot of people ain't see the vision. Like, that's one thing you gotta do. If don't nobody else believe in you, you always gotta believe in yourself. Cause like everybody ain't gonna see the vision. Like you got $1 million vision. Everybody vision ain't worth $1 million. You know, some people don't see past $1,000. Like you can't listen to other people. Like you gotta, if you wanna do this shit, do this shit. Only person stopping you from success is you, yourself. Like, then another thing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Themis and Thought. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. And let's talk about this Featurism slash Colorism, women competing with each other, Young Thug, GloRilla, and Mariah the Scientist situation. Let's do it. To start off, I did watch Chris's video on it and a lot of other people's videos on this because I wanted to summarize my thoughts and remove things that would ultimately be redundant, so I have done that. Young Thug was, in fact, gossiping from his jail cell with Mariah the Scientist. A lot of people found this odd, but it's Young Thug. What do you expect? I expect gossiping. Let's, instead of trying to get through all of the leak audio, let's talk about the very specific conversation he had with Mariah the Scientist about GloRilla and see what we can glean from that. Point of contention before we go any further is we need to leave Whoopi Goldberg name out of your mouth. She is a whole EGOT, and I do not appreciate conversations where she is sort of the butt of the joke. We're not doing that. Not in 2025. Yeah, let's just not. Okay, now let's start. So, Young Thug had a bunch of audio tapes being leaked of him just talking about everyone and anything that he could think about. This idea of being a rat and street code and all of that, I have no idea about any of it. I did not attempt to learn any of it. The whole thing about him and Gunna and him turning the music industry against Gunna because they don't snitch or whatever it is that they're talking about. Don't ask me about that. We are here for one tape and one tape only. And that is a conversation Young Thug behind bars had with Mariah the Scientist, his then girlfriend that he was allegedly cheating on. To start, let's play the relevant clip, audio clip, from the conversation between Young Thug and Mariah the Scientist, and then let's discuss.
The girl, GloRilla, she,
Yeah.
why do people say she pretty? That be ugly as fuck.
You think she ugly?
You said it. Like, yeah, they say she ain't ugly. People, niggas be saying she ain't ugly. That bitch ain't nothing.
They just saying she look like Rihanna.
Man, they like goddamn Brianna.
Yeah.
Man, watch that.
Oh, man.
She look like Rihanna. Long ass, bullshit ass wig, skinny shit. Goddamn, big ass head, big mouth. Man, watch that. It's crazy. There's probably niggas really running around sneaking with her too. She understand her.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of niggas in her DM and stuff. Probably. You know, but I be feeling like sometimes a lot of niggas like that, it'll be like, if the girl was regular and you weren't trying to fuck with the girl, you know, it's just like she got a number one song and you know.
Nigga like, oh, let her. Man, bitch ain't like nothing. I would not pursue her at all, ever. Man, watch out. Watch out. That's man. All the shit I seen about her. Seen a video of walking past. That big ass mouth, just like always laughing. Look at that bitch. She look funny. She look funny. That girl look funny, man. Who the hell who trying to smack this? Man, you like Trippy Red or some shit and trying to get her. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no.
Man, Trippy Red because this girl, and she is like a super threat.
Young Thug said she, talking about GloRilla, in conversation with Mariah the scientist, that GloRilla was ugly AF. He meant that. With everything in him, he meant that. And I only repeat what he said and the fact that I believe he meant that because he would later come back and apologize. We'll get to the grammatically incorrect apology in a moment. But he meant that. And I do think there is a part of this that is him reassuring Mariah the scientist. And I say that because of something Mariah would say in the conversation where she expresses this concern that she has about men choosing GloRilla because of who she is and her songs doing well, as opposed to them wanting to be with her if she did not have these kinds of accolades. The inclination here for Mariah is to believe that the reason men currently are seeking GloRilla is because GloRilla is successful, but for her success, men would not want her. That is Mariah's assessment of what is happening. I'll get back to that momentarily. GloRilla, in response to this tape being leaked, decided to get on X, formerly Twitter, and in her response, she indicated that Young Thug was in her messages asking her what eye color she had. Now, it seems GloRilla thinks that Young Thug asking her what eye color she had is some way an argument against him calling her ugly. So the suggestion here seems to be that because you think I have a different color eye than brown, that I am not ugly, or at least you don't believe I'm ugly. And the reason I say this is I'm extraordinarily confused as to why a rebuttal to you are ugly is you were asking me what color my eyes were. Now, obviously, the implication here is that he wanted more, that he was attempting to test the waters, if you will, that in some ways he was attracted to GloRilla. This could all be true. My issue is GloRilla attempts to use this reality of a man asking her what color her eyes were to suggest that that same man cannot also think she's ugly. Or if that man thinks she's ugly, he was still interested in what eye color she had. Now, let me be very clear. I do not think Young Thug and these colorist men are going into a woman's DMs or messaging them, calling them, or asking them about their eye color just because, as a matter of fact and not a way to figure interest. I think it is the way that GloRilla uses it as a rebuttal to her being ugly that I find interesting. And I would go further in that, but to do that is to, I think, dismantle some of GloRilla's own thinking here. And I don't want to do that yet. I want to wait until we sort of discuss her song, because that, for me, highlights her own colorism and her own standard of beauty, and that kind of aligns with this idea that her eyes being not brown in the way that yours or mine might be. I'm assuming you are watching have my eye color, but if you're not, but I think there is something to mine here regarding GloRilla's identity with blackness, beauty, featurism, and even colorism. We'll get to that in a minute. Interestingly, Interestingly, I also think Mariah the scientist is competing in her mind with other women, obviously, but GloRilla specifically, and she is attempting to justify on this phone call why it is that men would find GloRilla beautiful, particularly when she ranks higher in her mind than GloRilla on the beauty hierarchy, right? And so to justify a reality where GloRilla is getting a lot of men, as if that should matter to her, she needs to understand in some ways why GloRilla, who she believes to be ranked lower on the beauty hierarchy, is getting more attention from men than she thinks she's getting, because this is all sort of made up. She doesn't actually know, unless she's in GloRilla's DM, how many men are like DMing. This is actually an insane conversation as I say my thoughts out loud. I do think it is interesting to be disrespecting a woman from behind bars, but I also wish we'll get into Young Thug. But I do think the women's interpretation and engagement, they're also interesting. And so we'll talk about them. This is not a GloRilla defense video. This is not a Mariah the Scientist defense video. And you already know this is not going to be in defense of Young Thug. So I guess everyone getting dragged slightly. All right, to be clear, largest most problematic person from my perspective would be Young Thug, but there are also smaller issues that needs to be addressed around Mariah the Scientist, and I think there is also a larger issue with GloRilla. Please note that if you are going to get your fingers ready to type,
well, it's a rap beef, and when you're dissing someone on a track, you are able to say whatever you want. Gloves are off, and you can do and hit as low as you want. Absolutely not. I
do think the way that we argue, I think the way that we rap and the way that we write and that which we write about says a lot about what we think. And why do you think something is an insult is actually very important about what you take as beautiful versus what you take as ugly. I will never, ever, ever agree with you. So you're going to be arguing with yourself in the comments if you are saying that she should be free from critique because this is a diss track and all bets are off because someone called her ugly and described the shape of her mouth and head in relation to her body. Yeah, no. Drag him fully, but no. When Mariah the Scientist says, you think she ugly? Question mark, like, do you think she's ugly? I have a couple of questions, but like, why is there such a need, Mariah the Scientist, for this kind of competition with this woman who obviously is not trying to get your man? Why are you competing with her in the looks department? And mind you, asking, do you think she's ugly is a competition. It is a way for her to be validated by her man in comparison to other women. Why not ask your man for the validation and talk about your own beauty and why he loves you and why he cares about you? Why is it that you needed to be compared to someone else and elevated above that person in order for you to feel good about yourself? And we know that's what you wanted because even Young Thug, as illiterate as people might think he is, understood in that moment that he needed to validate you. When you asked him if he thought GloRilla was ugly, he responded and he attempted to reassure you that GloRilla was not someone he would ever go after. And so in that vein, let me go ahead and give it to you, Mariah. You're pretty, girl. You're pretty. You're pretty with a cheating man and a flop career, but you're pretty. You feel better? No, you don't feel better. You already knew you were pretty, but you still have a cheating man. You know that. You were fighting women in a club, and also your career can't even touch that of GloRilla. So you're prettier, girl. Here's a cookie. I think it is insane to sit there with your man behind bars and one of the things you wanted to hear was your man telling you that another woman was ugly repeatedly. How little do you think of yourself? How little are you actually? Not how you think, how little are you? How small are you? And then to follow it up with, and I quote, they said she looked like Rihanna, end quote. You knew exactly, your man called this girl ugly. You ask if your man actually thought she was ugly after he already told you he thought this woman was ugly. Not only did you ask, hey, do you think she's ugly after, again, he said it, you then followed it up with, they said she looked like Rihanna. With friends like this, by the way, Mariah and GloRilla are like friendly. GloRilla brought this girl out on her set to give this girl some clout. And this is what you're in there with your man talking about, degrading someone who did nothing that you can point to bad to you. Insane. They say she looked like Rihanna. What were you doing? And by the way, the idea that people are like,
Oh, Mariah the scientist did not say anything. No.
oh, you did. You did. And it was some trash. Why do you need to hear a woman be disrespected? What does that do for you? After Tory Lane's call was leaked and various other people's call from prison were leaked, do they not know this is being recorded when a call starts, when you're in jail under the watchful eye of government? Do these people not know they're being recorded? Like, I'm always surprised when people in jail have their calls leaked and everyone is acting surprised as if they didn't know that they're being recorded. Do people actually not know they're being recorded when they're in jail? By the way, I do think GloRilla favors Rihanna. They don't look alike. Like, I would never mistake them, but I do think there is like whatever tribe, like if they were from like a random tribe out there in the galaxy somewhere, they would be from the same tribe or same tribe. They would be the same group. They do favor each other even if they don't look alike. They could be cousins. They could be sisters. But why bring it up? Like, your man says she's ugly. You think she's ugly. Why even bring up the Rihanna thing? And yes, Mariah the scientist does think that GloRilla is ugly. She does. When you say you wonder, Mariah the scientist, if men are going after her because of her success, because they wouldn't go after her if she wasn't successful with their top charting songs, you're saying she's ugly. Don't at me. Do not come at me if you're a Mariah the Scientist. Why am I asking if you're a Mariah the Scientist fan? Ain't no Mariah the Scientist fan. Yeah, and there will be zero blowback in these comments because there's no Mariah the Scientist fan. I ain't never met them. I have never met a Mariah the Scientist fan. It's like Dua Lipa. Actually, let me not do that because Dua Lipa is actually a good artist, and y'all bullied that girl into being a better artist. So yeah, but Mariah the Scientist, girl, hang it up, flat screen. Mariah the Scientist said she, talking about GloRilla, she be having a lot of men in her DMs. I be feeling like a lot of men, if the girl was regular, you wouldn't F with her. But because she got a #1 song, that you're messing with her. Yeah. So you think she's ugly. I don't know why Mariah the Scientist in a relationship with Young Thug would be worried about the amount of men that is in GloRilla's DM. That seems like a weird thing to be worried about. Why do you feel the need to justify men's attraction? Outside of preserving your understanding, Mariah, of the beauty hierarchy, why are you interested in dissecting why men would be interested in GloRilla? Just accept it as a truth and move on. There's nothing to dissect or investigate. Or are you so tied to the beauty hierarchy that you need to deal with some level of cognitive dissonance? Because on one hand, it's, well, she's ranked below me, And she's claiming to have a lot of men in her DMs, and then that kind of discomfort is there existing in you for some reason or another, and you now need to figure a way to soothe yourself and get rid of the discomfort, and you justify that by blaming her success as the culprit for why men are even attracted to her and DMing her. I'm not the only one who thought Mariah the scientist wanted reassurance here, that she felt insecure in comparison to GloRilla because she felt she was more beautiful than GloRilla, but she felt dwarfed in GloRilla's shadow in terms of GloRilla's success and men reaching out to GloRilla. Young Thug thought the same thing because directly after she says this about men being in GloRilla's DM, Young Thug said, and I quote, I could not pursue her at all, ever. Big mouth, she looked funny. Then Mariah laughed because she got the reassurance that she wanted. She was desperately seeking some validation from her man that she was better than GloRilla, at least aesthetically, and Young Thug gave it to her. And so, I mean, I guess to Mariah the scientist, I'll say, don't worry. Apparently, Young Thug not cheating with GloRilla, but he cheating with everyone else. So, that. In my dressing room, stealing dresses and.
Used to fuck with Young Thug, I ain't addressing this shit. Caught him in my dressing room, stealing dresses and shit.
I am never sure how much theory I should include whenever I'm making videos on YouTube. It's a weird thing. I think about it a lot because it's like conjectures, but I do have a theory here, and I let me know in the comments. Engage with this theory and like tell me if I'm wrong or if you think I'm wrong and why you think I'm wrong. And if you think I'm right, can you add some more to it and add some color, right? So here's my theory. I think Mariah the scientist is more comfortable with Young Thug cheating on her with a woman she believes to be prettier than her in the beauty hierarchy. It somehow, even though she's fighting these women, right, if they're more racially ambiguous, if they're in fact of a different race, I think it reaffirms her position in the beauty hierarchy. And hearing her talk to Young Thug about this and being gleeful at Young Thug's response, calling another woman ugly. Like, first of all, it's strange to be with a man and okay with this man disrespecting some other woman. I think that's already strange. But whenever people are happy about the gun pointed somewhere else, it's always interesting when it's proverbial gun that is pointed at them and they seem confused when they are now the subject of the kind of vulgar disrespect that they watch the same person against someone else and they were just sitting there cheering it on. Anyway, tangent there. I think that she will be okay with him cheating on her, okay insofar as she'll fight, but she understands and she accepts her position and that some women just are more beautiful and thus he gets to cheat with them, where uglier women, quote unquote, who do not fit the beauty standards are not highly ranked on whatever hierarchy she's developing in her mind or accepting. She has a problem with that. And I think she, because of this cognitive dissonance, this chasm between that which she believes versus reality, is easier to men to pull together, to build a bridge to get over, when it is someone that she can, quote unquote, objectively, it's not objective, determine is more attractive than her. If she's less attractive or quote unquote darker skin or whatever, I think that becomes a problem. If she does not have the Eurocentric features, then it becomes a bigger problem for Mariah the scientist. That's the vibe I'm getting. And I do want you all to engage with that down in the comment section. It's a theory that I'm working through. Obviously, other people must have indicated this and engaged with it. I haven't seen it yet, but I would like for you all to engage with it. Young Thug, after the audio leaked, would come out and he would apologize. And I will put the apology on the screen and let's read it together. I am so sorry. I corrected the grammar on there, so I corrected everything on it because I was just sitting there like, yeah, no, girl, absolutely not. So here's the corrected. Here's the corrected version. At Glow, the official, first of all, I'm sorry to you for my words. I honestly don't think you're ugly. I was speaking from jail, just having a hard time with life. I don't like bashing women and have hardly ever done so. I am sorry. Now, it is interesting because I don't believe none of that. I believe he's sorry because it's leaked now and he now has to be held to the same standard he was trying to hold Gunna to, and he looks weird just gossiping about women. So I do think he feels bad, but I don't think he is remorseful of what he said insofar as he thinks it's wrong and he shouldn't have said it. I think he's just annoyed that it's out and he's being judged for his words. He meant every single word he said about GloRilla. Every word, except he wouldn't go after her. I think he would still go after her, but he meant every word. And FYI, because someone is gonna like go after you or attempt to talk to you, sleep with you, date you 1 or 2 times, it does not mean they find you attractive. And I didn't realize people conflate the idea of like romantic engagement with someone being attracted to you. There are men right now married to women they hate. Like there are people in relationships with people they don't find attractive. Let's be very clear about that. And I want to disabuse of any notion that because someone would sleep with you, bring you on a date, even talk to you at a club, that they are into you. A friend of mine once told me this, and I'm going to impart this. I'm going to impart this wisdom on you all. If no one spoke to you the entire night until the club is over and people are going home, and that's when a straggler comes, never mind. Back to the video. If you ever wanted to understand Featurism, go listen to the conversation Young Thug is having with Mariah the Scientist. He is the definition of a featurist. We know he's been colorist, but this is a definition of featurism. And the women who benefit from featurism and just they're kikiing it up with men who are featurists and colorists, they're not actually doing well. Let's be very clear. It might seem that way on the outside because women have perfected the art of pretending like their relationships are great. I've seen this firsthand. I don't know why people do that. If your relationships are terrible and you want to stay in them, just shut up about it. Anyway, outside of perfecting the art of pretending like relationships are good, these women tend to be mistreated, used, abused, and then discarded because in a colorist's mind, the light-skinned woman can be traded out for a lighter skin, a more Eurocentric feature. These women aren't generally seen as people fully. They are kind of there as accessories to indicate to other men that these men who other women would not have wanted but for their success, these men get to parade as if they have engaged in some status symbol measuring contest. And these women tend to be traded in and out at the drop of a hat. These women also know about this. And so they get as much as they can, as quickly as they can. I can't put this on the screen, but I was drawing up a sort of outline, but because I'm editing this myself, it will not be on the screen. So beauty in this way requires more than like light eyes and pale to palish skin. Your nose cannot be too big. Comment on how big her nose was a part of the discourse, right? Proximity to whiteness seemed to be prioritized, where skin tone is just one marker among many other marker of what it means to be beautiful in a colorist's mind. So yes, you can have one indicator, i.e. light skin, without having the rest of it, and you be deemed ugly, where someone with a darker skin but features more Eurocentric would be readily invited to Chris Brown's section. So GloRilla, while she has lighter skin, she does look black, right? And this is not to say she might not be biracial or there's not mixed people in her line or any of that, but she does look obviously black, even with light skin. GloRilla still looks black, and for some men, Young Thug in particular, she looks too black, even with a lighter skin. One of the weird critiques I've seen of Young Thug is that he's ugly. I don't think this is useful. I don't think this is a useful critique. Sure, he seems sort of grotesque and sort of unkept, unclean for some people, but this is not the same as saying someone is ugly. Ugly is about architectonic, the physical makeup of one's face. And in truth, I could go to a skincare routine to help Young Thug. Yeah, starting with sort of like a chemical peel or like microdermabrasion, figuring out how to get healthier here at the front of his head, the patchy skin, the dry lips, those can easily be fixed. But you're not here for my unsolicited skincare advice, so I will not give them. Young Thug is an average-looking man in his like feature and physical makeup. This is not a bad thing. When someone say you are average-looking, as a general matter, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though it could be used as a bad thing, i.e. see Kevin Samuels. And by the way, when I say someone is not ugly, I'm not saying you cannot find them repulsive. Like, the man looks sick, his skin looks dull, there's some yellowing going on, he looks dehydrated, around his eyes seem like he hasn't slept or drank water, again, dehydration, and it indicates something bigger going on. If I were a doctor, there would be a diagnosis, but hey, I'm not that. I do understand the how dare you talk about GloRilla looking like you look. I agree with the sentiment, but it's not because he's ugly. It's because under all of that, what I just described, under the patchy skin, the dull skin, the dry skin, the dark circle around eyes, the unkept hair, the unkept general presentation looking thing, under all of that, we cannot get to see what this person actually looked like. So it's hard for me to say the man is ugly when I can't really see his face. So I'm just going ahead and call him average. GloRilla would then respond in a song. Now, I did not see GloRilla or her team, though to be fair, I haven't been really looking for it. I haven't been seeing them confirming that this is in fact GloRilla's song. It could be AI, though. If it were AI and you were being called colorist for a song that was dropped, one would expect you to come out and clear up the fact that you did not make this song. So the song, part of the song leaked, and we are now listening to it. GloRilla has not denied that it is her song, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, girl, GloRilla, what are you talking about, and why are you colorist? I'm going to, without any denial that this is her song, I'm just going to go ahead and say this is just straight up colorism. This is colorism, featurism, anti-blackness. It is wild to sit here and listen to GloRilla destroy all that goodwill so many people have for her in a single song. Because I will still listen to GloRilla because I can understand her being hurt and wanting to punch back, and in a society that is openly featurist and colorist, her leaning into featurism and colorism to get her lick back, I do actually understand that it does not make it better. It is still a problem. She hold these beliefs. When you're calling someone, yeah, we're going to have a problem. When you're using Whoopi Goldberg as a punchline for how ugly a man is, we going to have a problem. It is a problem. And yes, the reason I'm more annoyed with the GloRilla song is because I came here fully wanting to defend GloRilla, and then I had to rewrite the entire outline. It was just a random notes. I don't know why I'm pretending like this is a huge undertaking. But I had to re-engage because after listening to GloRilla's song, I realized they're all a part of the same dusty boat, and none of them, for me, needs our sympathy. They all just kind of exist with each other in the same colorist degenerate boat, clinging very heavily to the beauty hierarchy for the two women, and the man pitting them against each other. And yes, while I'm here for a good drag generally, I do think the song is a problem. Why is GloRilla attaching ugly to Whippy when in fact she herself found it problematic and it gave her pause when she was being called ugly? Why would you ever do some foolishness like that? She also dragged Miss Netta. She also dragged Miss Netta, and Miss Netta came out and said, girl, you don't know anything. She don't know you, and the fact that she knows me is enough for me. This is a privilege. And I'm sitting there like, oh, poor girl. I don't know. Is it? I ain't even gonna go there. I don't know what they go by at all. So let me just say, Miss Netta is not fully aware that she's being fully disrespected from the video that I saw. That's what I'm gonna go with.
GloRilla, I really appreciate what you've done for me and stuff like that. You know, hopefully it'll get people to see me in a different light, which I don't really care. But it don't matter, but y'all know how I am about that. But you know what? I really appreciate you. And I'm honored that you mentioned me in your diss track song or whatever. I'm very honored, and I'm just enjoying it. And it just me and Charles got drunk last night on that. We were so happy, even though they just mentioned me, but we are the team, Charles and I. So if you talking about Miss Netta, you're gonna talk about Charles, because we together. And we just celebrated. We did the most. And you know, I tell everybody, I don't like to get drunk. Now I get tipsy and feeling good and stuff like that, but drunk I don't get. Last night I looked up, I said, baby, I am drunk. And he said, I am too. I said, well, that's what I'm talking about. So we celebrated that, and we had a good time celebrating it. We don't care what nobody say, how you got to say it, when you got to say it, or who you going to say it to. We don't care. Negative, positive, whatever. It don't matter. You know, she didn't say nothing bad about me. She said, with your nether looking ass. That's what she said. But if you want to take it and run with it, you can take it and run with it. But I enjoyed it. Thank you so much, GloRilla. I really appreciate it. And,
when you say someone dark like midnight, when you say they look burnt, and when you liken them to feces, yeah, it's just gonna be a chop from me. It's gonna be a chop. There is no part of this song that I thought, oh, this is interesting. This is a drag, when Kendrick Lamar did Not Like Us and engage in one of the best lyrical beating that we have seen in this century. I'm kidding. In modern hip hop history. I'm expecting some kind of elevation even in the dragging, and I do find it problematic that someone like GloRilla has to resort to sort of stereotypes and name-calling and colorism in order to get her point across, to drag someone who came out and apologized to her. Use the apology, drag him for being uneducated, drag him for being a snitch. Featurism was weaponized against you, and so you decided to use colorism against him. That's weird to me. I don't like the song, don't like the audio that was released. I don't know why GloRilla did some foolishness like that with all this goodwill. All in all of these people are a part of the same Dusty tribe. They are all kind of useless to me. I don't expect deep thinking from rappers anymore. I'm talking about Young Thug or GloRilla. Mariah the Scientist, I'll just throw her in the rap category too, because I don't really know what she does. Monotone singing is not for me. So a rapper she is from now. And so all of these three people exhibit the kind of uselessness to engage in deep intellectual thinking. GloRilla had a great opportunity to stand on something meaningful, push back in a meaningful way, but I don't think she can. And I'm pro plastic surgery, and so GloRilla going to make herself look more beautiful in her mind, more power to you. Not going to critique you on that. But it does say something about how she sees herself in relation to the beauty hierarchy that Mariah was critiquing and engaging with her, even though not directly to her, but to Young Thug. I think they're all a part of the degeneracy, and the way that they talk about each other, GloRilla included, because of her song, just reeks of colorism, misogyny, being conquered, and not being able to elevate in a meaningful way to start a real public discussion that could actually be beneficial to young women, young black women listening to them, or even young black men who might want to learn and grow from a colorist degenerate culture. So that's that on that. I have nothing further to say. I don't have sympathy for GloRilla, nor for Mariah the Scientist. She's getting dragged all across the street, as she should. She deserves it. I wish more people would be dragging Young Thug, but I see that I might not be a part of the internet group that is in fact dragging Young Thug, and instead a part of the group that would focus on Mariah the Scientist and GloRilla, and wishing that these two women would have been able to provide us a higher level of engagement that would be uplifting. But there goes me and my pie in the sky wishful thinking on people who literally have never given me any indication that they had any amount of academic rigor ever. Cultural analysis has never come from either of these people, so I don't know why I expected it. Anywho, I will end this video there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you again later. I go live on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you there. Oh, if I'm not out, the zipping it and zoing it. Also, I'm planning to make my lives private. I was going to make them members only, and I might, but I don't want people to become members to watch my live. So what I'm going to do instead is, hear me out. I'm going to do the live streams, and I will leave them public for like 2 to 3 days. Then I will make them members only for a month, and after a month, I will private them. I want my videos, these videos, to be the body of work that people have of me, and I want the live stream to be a place of community where we come and talk, and I don't want the high pressure of thinking this is going to be out here forever or that it will be a part of my collective body of work. I do want it to be more community based. We're like a few of us are just chatting. I do. I like talking to people. So I want to go back to the basics of just having random topics, putting the link down, talking, people coming on, we disagreeing, we agreeing, we are growing, learning, thinking critically, and then make videos from those probably, but removing them after a while because I don't want them to be permanent. I want people to feel safe and knowing that it is not permanent. All right, so I'm thinking about that. That's what I'm probably gonna do. Also, one more note, I'm gonna get some moderators. So if you would like to be a moderator and you've been here for over a year, let me know. The qualification first is that you've been here for over a year. After that, we'll figure it out. I need 5 to 10 moderators. Yeah. All right, cool. Bye.